Channel 5, WMAQ TV, Chicago. Now, live from the NBC Tower, this is the Channel 5 News at 10.
Two men are in custody tonight for this attack on Nancy Kerrigan 1 week ago today. The men are Sean Eckert, skater Tonya Harding's bodyguard, and this man, Derek Smith from Phoenix, Arizona. He, the supposed middleman who allegedly hired Nancy Kerrigan's attacker. Good evening, I'm Carol Marine.
And I'm Warner Saunders, in for Ron Majors. The investigation into the Kerrigan attack is starting to come together. Investigators are working in 4 different cities tonight: in Detroit, where the attack occurred; in Arizona, where the alleged hitman was hired; in Portland, where several suspects and skater Tonya Harding live; and in Boston, where Nancy Kerrigan and her family are waiting for word on who attacked her. We have several reports ahead: the investigation and arrest today, background on skater Tonya Harding, and why someone may want to knock out her top competition, Nancy Kerrigan, the stiff competition that goes along with the training of figure skaters, and finally, word from the Olympic Committee and the United States Figure Skating Association. We begin now with the investigation. Kevin McCarty joins us now live in the newsroom. Kevin?
And Warner, as has just been mentioned, the first arrests have been made in this case. Both of the men taken into custody are alleged to have played key roles in the conspiracy that resulted in last week's attack. And all of this appears to have come together following Derek Smith's arrival at an airport in Portland earlier today. Sean Eckert didn't respond to reporters' questions following his arrest on conspiracy charges in the attack on Kerrigan. Eckert and another man are now the first to be formally charged with the attack on the 24-year-old skater. The man in the striped shirt is identified as Derek Smith, and according to authorities in Portland, Smith flew from Arizona at their request for questioning in the investigation of the attack on Nancy Kerrigan. Some reports name Smith as the suspected middleman in the attack who helped find a hitman to carry out the assault on the 24-year-old skater. NBC News quotes anonymous sources as saying that Tonya Harding's bodyguard, Sean Eckert, confessed his role in that conspiracy. Several news reports paint the picture of an alleged plot that began when Harding's ex-husband, Jeff Gallulli, approached Eckert to help him find a hitman, the target, Nancy Kerrigan. Eckert then reportedly contacted an intermediary, identified as Derek Smith, who then allegedly put the bodyguard in touch with Shane Stant, a Portland area man. Stant is believed to be the man seen in this blurred videotape, the man who carried out the attack on Nancy Kerrigan 1 week ago. Detroit police say the plot was revealed to them when Deputy Police Chief Benny Napoleon spoke to an unidentified woman who had overheard a tape-recorded meeting at which Gallulli is allegedly heard planning the attack.
She became very frightened because she thought that she now knew that the people that she had overheard were very serious and that she could not live with that.
Police say they have recovered the weapon used in the assault, a retractable baton like this one, found in a garbage dumpster. Gallulli, who lives with Harding following a romantic reconciliation, is denying any role in the conspiracy. And officials in both Oregon and Michigan say despite one report that surfaced today, Harding is not believed to have been involved in the assault on her rival. Again, the two men arrested in this case are Sean Eckert, he is 26 years old, and Derek Smith, he's age 29. Both are now charged with conspiracy to commit assault. The Associated Press is reporting, by the way, that Derek Smith has also confessed his role in the assault. At least 2 other warrants have been issued in Oregon, and police in Detroit say warrants have been issued in Michigan as well. Carol?
Thank you, Kevin. Reaction is coming in from all around the country, from Harding's home in Portland, from Kerrigan's home in Massachusetts, and from Phoenix, the home of one of the men allegedly involved in the conspiracy.
This is Bruce Kirk in Phoenix. The connection to the Nancy Kerrigan story in this city apparently involves a man named Derek Smith. We say apparently because at this hour he has not been formally charged, but he was put on a plane earlier this afternoon from Phoenix and is now in police custody tonight in Oregon. Published and broadcast reports out of Oregon and Boston point to Smith as the so-called middleman who hired a hitman in the Kerrigan attack a week ago tonight in Detroit. Now, we're told that Smith is a friend of rival skater Tonya Harding's bodyguard, a man known as Eric Eckhart, who may also be a suspect. We understand that Smith has lived in Phoenix just about 3 or 4 months, apparently moving here from the state of Oregon. And it's not clear tonight if he has any kind of a prior police record. At this point, though, what we do know is Phoenix police and the FBI in this city appear to be out of the case.
In Portland, Harding remains in seclusion, awaiting the results of the investigation. Television stations there continue to report the arrest in last week's beating of Kerrigan. Olympic officials say as long as Harding herself is not implicated in this attack, she remains on the U.S. Olympic team. And in Boston, Nancy Kerrigan and her family remain silent about all of the developments since her attack. Kerrigan remains at her home in Massachusetts, recovering from her leg injury. Family members say she will not comment until she hears from the FBI that arrests have been made. According to her agent, Kerrigan could resume skating as early as next week.
Tonya Harding tonight remains in seclusion, quite uncharacteristic for Harding, who has a reputation for saying and doing what she feels. She's got a national championship under her belt now, but critics never thought she'd be this good, and she never forgot the doubts. She's a poor girl in a rich kid's game, a blue-collar dynamo who dared to dream big.
I want to go to the Olympics. I want to be a world champion.
And she just may be, but with the Kerrigan controversy swirling around her, it may take more than a gold medal in Norway for Harding to win America's hearts. To be the best on ice, to be a Tonya Harding or a Brian Boitano consumes the lives of hundreds of young people. On the North Shore, skaters are here before dawn and return to the ice after school. Kids as young as 8 years old who have already 5 years of skating under their belts. They are winners. Here, Ben Britson just won a gold regional, but he says his rivals never patted him on the back.
And then they get kind of snobby and don't talk to you, aren't good sports.
These young hopefuls and their coaches say there's no place for violence like the attack on Kerrigan in such an elegant, graceful sport.
The U.S. Olympic Committee is watching this investigation carefully, but right now says both skaters still have their places on the U.S. Olympic team.
There's no indication that Tonya is involved at all, and our goal is still to make her as competitive as possible for the games in Lillehammer.
Meanwhile, the comment today from the United States Figure Skating Association reads, incidents such as the senseless attack on Nancy Kerrigan should not be considered reflections of the state of the sport. Rather, they should be regarded as reflections of society as a whole and the increasing amount of violence we face each day. Case in point, yet another attack on a sports figure, this time in Germany, where a soccer player is hospitalized after being stabbed in the back by a spectator at an indoor tournament. The alleged attacker is described as a 28-year-old woman. Police arrested that woman, whom they say indicated she was imitating last April's attack on tennis player Monica Seles. Seles was stabbed in the back by a fan of a rival tennis player.
Closer to home, Old Man Winter has an icy grip on the Chicago area tonight. We're in a deep freeze with the wind chill, and it may get down to a blistering 40 degrees below zero. Tonight, how cold will it get? Well, Brent Miller here now with some answers to that chilling question. Brent?
Well, Warner, we've got a little map that'll show you where this cold air is coming from. Take a look at some of these temperatures, especially up here just south of Hudson's Bay in Canada. 29 below zero, 20 below zero right along the Canadian border, 22 below zero up near Sault Ste. Marie. These are not wind chills. These are air temperatures. Our present air temperature is 5 above. How soon will we see this cold polar air? We'll share that coming up on the Channel 5 News. Warner?
Thanks, Brent. Channel 5's Charlie Wojciechowski is out there braving those frigid temperatures. He joins us now from North Michigan Avenue with some tips on how to cope with the cold. Charlie?
Warner, we're not seeing many people walk by us there at Michigan Avenue. Those we do are bundled up there, trying to stay warm like everyone else is, stay warm and safe. Additional operators are on hand tonight to answer the phones at Chicago's Department of Human Services, taking calls from the homeless, asking for emergency shelter, and from people who can't stay in the homes they have because of the cold.
What I have here is requests for services from citizens and people who are in need of some type of services from the city.
What are people looking for tonight?
Right now we're looking at people that are calling in for shelter, people that are calling in and saying that they have no heat in their apartment, they would like to be relocated.
The address is 5036 North Kenmore, an apartment building where the gas has been cut off following a fire. Antoinette Gardner and her 2 children are being relocated, even though they're not ready to go.
My concern now is who's going to watch my furniture? You know, how am I going to get back here if I leave here? How are my kids going to get to school? I got a daughter ready to take the Constitution test. She's having a fit. She doesn't want to leave. I don't know what. I'm in a dilemma. I don't know what to do.
But you're also worried about the cold tonight.
Yes, it's freezing up in here.
While the Gardner family decides what to do, the city considers whether to put in effect its emergency shelter plan.
We have close to 5,000 beds. we've been averaging about 200-300 beds empty every morning. So presently we have enough beds in the system to meet every need that's coming in. If not, we have a backup system of 1,000 beds that we can activate at any time. But right now we feel comfortable with what we have.
Animals are also at risk tonight, especially dogs like these, left outside. According to the Anti-Cruelty Society, dogs should only be taken for short walks. When they're done, the delicate pads of their feet should be checked for frostbite and wiped clean of rock salt. Also, the Society recommends owners to keep dogs away from puddles. You may ask, what about cats? Well, the Society says they, like most people, should stay inside. Live on Michigan Ave, I'm Charlie Wojciechowski. Back to you.
Charlie, thank you.
If you live in Chicago and feel your landlord is not supplying enough heat for your apartment, you can get some help from the City Department of Human Services. The hotline number there is 744-5000, and the hearing impaired can call a different number, 744-8599.
Is it batter up for Michael Jordan? The speculation continues, and for the first time, the White Sox have a comment. That's still ahead.
Also, why police have seized tapes from an interview with a man in jail for the murder of James Jordan.
And a ruling in the case of one of the Menendez brothers accused of murdering their parents, next on the Channel 5 News.
The Channel 5 News is brought to you in part by the American Express card.
We give birth to the product. The customer gives life to it. We need the dreams of the people. If people stopped dreaming, we would be useless. You know, there was the time where some customer would pay with a piece of paper by OMS. Then another one said, I have the same, but it's called American Express. Why not?
American Express can give life to a lot of dreams. We even know how to make them come true.
Ever since I was a little girl, I knew I wanted to fly, and when I got the opportunity to fly jets, I just had to go for it. I wanted to buy a fun car that kind of gave everyone else on the road an impression of my personality. And therefore, I was looking for something fun and sporty and sleek and looked like it could possibly take off if given the proper runway.
The high cost of health care, everyone has a part in keeping it down. So we took what you like about Wal-Mart and what you want in a pharmacy and put it right inside your Wal-Mart store. The result?
Wal-Mart's pharmacy department.
With professional service and the low price on every prescription.
So next time, bring it here.
Or ask your doctor to call.
Wal-Mart's pharmacy department, your full-service pharmacy, right inside Wal-Mart. Always the low price, always.
In Los Angeles, a mistrial in the case of Eric Menendez, one of the two brothers charged with murdering their millionaire parents. 23-year-old Eric is reportedly upset by the outcome, having preferred a verdict be reached after the long trial. Eric and his 26-year-old brother Lyle claim they shot their parents in self-defense. A separate jury continues to deliberate the fate of Lyle Menendez. Prosecutors have already said the case would be retired or retried if a mistrial is declared. Meanwhile, on the East Coast, Lorena Bobbitt, charged with the sexual mutilation of her husband, will take the witness stand in her defense again tomorrow. The trial has been in recess since Wednesday. Ms. Bobbitt's lawyers will again try to bolster their claim that she was a victim of repeated mental and physical abuse by her husband, John.
President Clinton is getting a night's sleep in Moscow before his second day of talks with his Russian counterpart, Boris Yeltsin. Tonight, Mr. Clinton enjoyed a 3-hour dinner at Yeltsin's country home outside Moscow. Earlier today, the president took time from his diplomatic schedule to sightsee and meet some Moscow residents. He went on a shopping trip to show support for Yeltsin's tough economic reforms, which have led to a drop in the Russian president's popularity. Tomorrow, the two leaders plan to finalize an agreement to stop aiming nuclear missiles at each other's countries.
Some not-so-good news about Italian food still ahead, plus...
Am I being fired?
The preview of Hollywood's first major film centering on AIDS.
And a tragedy in the air and on the ground as this circus train derails, next on the Channel 5 News.
22 points, 16 rebounds. The Pistons have now lost 11 in a row as the Knicks beat them easily, 94-80. Well, speaking of the NBA, Michael Jordan's not in it anymore. He continues to assert he's serious about going to spring training with the Sox. Now, this is putting the squeeze on Sox management. They've got a most valuable player in Frank Thomas, a Cy Young winner in Jack McDowell, a manager of the year, a defending division champion, all going to Sarasota in March. They're not happy that Michael's media circus is going to upstage all that, but the Sox said today, official party line is, we will evaluate Michael's progress on a daily basis, and we'll decide in mid-February whether or not he'll be invited to spring training. So that's where it stands. And now back to college basketball, where 10th-ranked Michigan at home in Ann Arbor against the Ohio State Buckeyes had a tough time. Jalen Rose, though, got him going, and the Wolverines won it, as you see, 86-75 over Ohio State. Some interesting scores tonight around the country. UMass, a winner over West Virginia. And look at this. Wake Forest, a 17-point underdog, won at number 2 Duke. And Northeastern Illinois beat Chicago State here at home, which brings us to this week's Weigel Wieners, featuring the best of the bloopers for the second week of the new year. And our colleague Kenny McReynolds knows that it happens every time. Just when you say a player can't miss, he inevitably will.
You know, when he's at the line, it's almost automatic. Absolutely. Did I jinx him or what? You certainly did.
And you made it tough for the ref leaving the stick on the ice, too. You know why the Fighting Illini have trouble with officials? They hide on the floor and let the refs fall right over them. What's the verdict, sir?
Penalty on the play.
Certainly a penalty on this play. Who's the clown in the street clothes going after the Denver Broncos? While the Raiders and Broncos brawl, the cheerleaders never notice a thing, but everyone notices the guy in the sweatshirt. Who is that guy?
What's your name?
Don't you know my name? My name's Blue Boy.
What do you think, Joe? Cartwheels?
No, there's a real cartwheel. Whatever happened to that bareback Buckeye fan anyway? What's going on with this guy? Talk about buttering up the boss.
Except you never saw a kid do what he was doing. What's that? Chewing the bark off a tree.
Lockery says chewing the bark off what? Dennis Hopper's date must have been overserved.
You're partied out, man.
Now, Greg Norman is partly out of the trap, or is he? Nope, he's back in, but as Tim Conway shows you, it's not easy getting out of there. Pretty soon you dig yourself a deeper hole. It's the only way out. Yes, Lily Tomlin making her maiden appearance on the Wieners. I think that's who that was.
Look like her anyway.
Well, up next, an update on our top story, all the developments in the Nancy Kerrigan case.
But first, tonight's winning Indiana lottery numbers.
We can't be playing catch-up with these guys. I mean, what is it that we need? Power. Speed. Lots of memory. Multimedia. Definitely has to be easy to use.
The Packard Bell 486 DX2, designed to keep pace with your needs. Just $19.97 at Best Buy. Plus, get no payments and no interest for 6 months on all computers.
I mean, is that too much to ask?
This is the all-new 1994 Mitsubishi Galant. It has a longer wheelbase than the Camry, more headroom and hip room. Plus, the Galant gives you 16 more horses under the hood. But there is one place the new Galant is smaller than the Camry. At least $2,000 smaller.
Buy or lease the all-new Galant for as little as $179 a month with $500 down.
Some people say, to pamper a woman, she should have nothing but roses and phone calls twice a day. They're thinking too small. The furs of Marshall Fields.
Save 50% on $5 million worth of furs during Marshall Fields half-price fur sale and clearance. State Street, Old Orchard, Water Tower, Woodfield, Oak Brook, and River Oaks. Marshall Fields half-price fur sale and clearance Thursday through Sunday only.
How does a man keep moving forward
I love you.
when his heart, what happened with us,
You fell in love with another woman.
keeps leading him back?
I want to know where you live. Yes, Vincent. Where do you live?
Richard Gere,
I don't want to lose you.
Sharon Stone,
I can't lose you.
Lolita Davidovich.
I want to be with you. Whatever you're going to do, do it.
Intersection, rated R.
Starts Friday, January 21st.
Now, an update on our top story. 2 men, including the bodyguard of skater Tonya Harding, have been arrested in connection with the attack on Nancy Kerrigan. Both are charged with criminal conspiracy to commit assault. There are still questions about Harding's role in the conspiracy, if any at all. So far, no comment from Kerrigan tonight. Well, that's our report for tonight. I'm John Drury.
And I'm Marianne Childers. For Tim Weigel, Jerry Taft, and all of us at Channel 7, thanks for watching. Stay warm and have a good night.
When the weather takes a turn for the worse.
I'll let you know when it will hit, what to expect, and how you can make it through another Chicago winter.
Channel 7 meteorologist Jerry Taft, Chicago's answer to a winter storm.
But it will definitely be cold in Chicago tonight. We have a
Don't get caught out in the cold. Get your Chicago weather forecast from a meteorologist. Get it from Jerry Taft. Tomorrow, only on Eyewitness News, Chicago's #1 news.